doing tonight? I know there's a bunch of you guys been asking me to do a Q&A. I haven't done one in a little short bit here. So I figured come on here and do a little bit of that. Answer some questions, maybe some new people that haven't been on my channel before. Okay. And hello, Trudy. Hey, Misty. Hey, Randy. Hey, Dazzler. Hello, Anne. Strong, Nancy. My condolences. Hello, Susan. Hello, Bailey. So, an opportunity, guys, here. If you want to ask me some questions about the paranormal, you want to share a story, I'm going to offer um, up for somebody to ask me a question on my Instagram, like I've done before. Um, Thank you, Jason. Hardest investigation? Are you talking, out of the shows or in general? Yeah, I just got a haircut. Hey, Stephanie. Hello, Haunted One. But to go back to that first question, I mean, I've had a lot of crazy investigations. I mean, one that's, different ones that have stuck out. Um, Out of the shows, which was the hardest, um, I have to think about that one. I mean, out of the shows, the hardest one, um, well, I mean, the last episode of Ghost Loop, I mean, I performed the exorcism ritual in the house, and obviously, believed it to be truly demonic. And considering what was happening to the mother in the house, being physically assaulted as she was, and obviously what happened with the son, it's a very complicated situation. Some of these cases you go on, and the stuff that goes on with the family, and it can become a real deep, layered situation. Also on the Demon Files, the mirror episode, and what was going on there and what I was experiencing. And, that's when I was really starting to go on true demonic cases and being mentored by Ralph. Um, so, for the TV shows, I mean, I'd say those stick out for me personally, because of what was going on in both of them. So whatever you guys questions you guys have, just ask me. Um, and what I'm gonna do, if you want to ask me a question with your own voice, come through on my Instagram live. It's Sean D Austin. You can follow me there if you're not. And I'll be going live. You click in there. If you want to chat with me, I'll allow people to come on there from my Instagram as well. And you guys can hear what the person says through here. I've done it before until I start to mess around with StreamYard and things like of that nature. Um, you know, working with Ralph is pretty um, intense. When I first met him, like I was, um, I just never experienced something of the sort. As anxious going on a first case with him. He's an honorable man. Um, he does it the way he believes, and that's it. He pushes hard, and he's a well respected man. He's left his mark in the paranormal field, and that's what I want to be able to do too. Make a difference in my passion in the paranormal. But I'm thankful and humbled to be able to have worked with Ralph and be mentored in demonology and that sort. Um, Again, to be around anybody that were pioneers of the time, with the Warrens and John Zaffis and things of that nature. These people around when it wasn't cool to be on TV, it was just like people were doing it for the research and to help people. So even though there's a lot more of that confusion with people and trying to decipher people's true intent these days because there's a Hollywood element. Um, I'm so thankful to who I've worked with, what I've learned so far, thus far. Um, yeah, it's just been a crazy journey. And ghost emojis for GJ Rush, which I just got a notification too. Thank you, CQC. Um, okay, hold on. Let me see here. If you could investigate the famous paranormal investigator here or past, who would it be and why? Absolutely, Ed Warren. Um, I've had visions about him, and um, it just would have been a very fascinating experience. I've heard just so many stories from Ralph because Ralph did so many cases with the Warrens. I've seen DVDs that he has of footage of, lectures and stuff like that. I mean, they've been on so many thousands of cases. I think that would be such a fascinating experience to be someone of that um, stature and what they were doing at the time. It would be something truly amazing to witness or to learn from or experience something with um, him. So probably him. That's right. Today is right. Yeah, I was at Lorraine's wake. I guess that was 2 years ago. It's crazy. Time flies. Hello from Lubbock. I'm gonna do this Instagram thing here in a moment. But any other questions you guys want to ask? I do not have any singing gigs. I literally did karaoke at a bar last week, and it felt good just to sing in front of people because of this crazy year. I definitely will do some stuff on YouTube and play some stuff for you guys. But yeah, I would love to book some singing gigs too. And that's my other passion. I mean, I've been running around so much and traveling so much doing the paranormal thing. Hello, Vicky. My dream place to investigate, Amityville. 24 hours, lock me in the Amityville house. Now, because I have personal stakes and involvement and experiences, connected to that case and what's happened to me, um, without a doubt. I do not have any haunted items. I usually give them to people that have museums. I just gave a Ouija board to Zaffis a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. Um, you know, I've given other haunted items to other people that collect. I certainly have not done that. No, I don't. I already have enough visitations currently um, to fill my schedule. Hello, Brittany. Winchester would be very interesting for sure. I definitely think there's more than probably one female spirit following me around, as you guys can see while I investigate. Um, I'll be doing like local investigations here for the next week or two when I can. And then I have my next trip to Ohio, which I'm lined up. It's looking like I can line up about 4 nights investigating, which I'm getting confirmed soon. And Epic Eric will be with me. Yeah, Trudy. Um, I'm gonna come on here. I was looking. I'm gonna do this Instagram thing so some people, um, some people can ask me questions. Michigan, yes, Bruce Mansion. Bruce Mansion, really haunted place, really cool. Had some cool experiences there. Saw a boot get hit, spun around in midair right in front of me. No, there's no place I wouldn't go unless I'm in physical danger. I have my own piece of equipment. Going to these places, tapping in, and seeing what's going to happen, what spirits you're going to communicate with. Maybe there's some souls you can help out. Um, Going to these locations for me is kind of like going into a gym, a paranormal gym, flexing my spiritual muscles, working them, developing them, and also my abilities to make them more prevalent, to be able to use them on cases for people and just investigations and just be that versatile tool to add to some of the scientific equipment we use on the investigations. And again, if you're just coming in here, appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up and could share it out to anyone that wants to come in, ask me a question. I'm going to do this Instagram thing here, um, so people can come on here as well. Well, I love the straight up ITC equipment. I just want to, hearing what the spirits are saying, and especially if I'm feeling something or hearing something, to be able to connect the dots to validate something that I'm getting a psychic like impression with, can be very beneficial for many reasons, depending on what's going on. So, I mean, I love the spirit boxes. I love the ITC stuff. Yeah, we were just in the movie set. Where they did District 12 with Eric. I will be editing and reviewing that at some point. It was an insane investigation. Some of you guys are probably there, and found out some really creepy stuff the next day, which I'll put in the video. Um, we found out about the satanic connection where we were feeling in um, in a certain part of the village. I'm going live on my Instagram, so anyone that wants to actually call in through Instagram, ask me a question. If you don't want to show your face, I'm sure you could just darken the room or something. I think you have to use your camera. So if you want to come in and ask me a question where I can hear you tell a story, I know it's a little hard to fit everything that you want to say in a little chat box and stuff like that. Do you think that your spirit box is haunted by other ghosts and spirits if you turn it on right now that you think you have one right on? So, using a device and having all these different energies go through a device, definitely there could be some truth to that. Um, Obviously I can't say one way or the other, but, I definitely think that there could be something to that for sure. Items do have energy, and using something like that for that purpose constantly and going these different places, it technically could be like a haunted item in a way. Um, and again, if you guys want to call in to my Instagram here, ask me a question about something as I'm doing this tonight. Rashid, what's going on? How's it going? So anyone that's just here on my Instagram, just to let you know, I'm also on YouTube right now doing a Q&A, and I haven't done one in a few weeks, and I'm allowing some people, if they want, they can listen to what I'm saying on my YouTube channel through here on Instagram, or if you want to ask me a question or share a story about the paranormal, you can come through here and ask me on Instagram on video chat. Be glad to share your story or ask me a question about something. Pussfoot, what is up, Brian? Sometimes I know the chat gets a little lost here. Okay, let me make sure, and I'll read out the question if I miss something here. I apologize. How do you feel? How did you feel when you began to cross over spirits? Um, I did something at the beginning of my journey, praying for a spirit and that I thought was trapped on a property. And it was kind of like a reoccurring theme from that moment. Um, and it was a whole emotional experience for me. And you can read about that in my first book, Shadow Chaser, if you want to know more about that first thing that happened involving crossing over a spirit from a tragedy in a location. But as I started to develop, and it's a reoccurring theme, and leading into the whole Mason House thing, and that was the first time I saw a white dove in my mind's eye, and getting an evil spirit to want to take retaliation against me. But I've had the emotions of spirits take over, not take over, but project their emotions onto me and feel like this thankful, happy, hopeful tears. Just you just saved me, and then have stuff come through the spirit box like you saved me. I'm going to heaven, and yeah, it's just very fulfilling, very purposeful. But it felt like it's drawing me more into my specific aimed involvement and what I'm supposed to be doing involved in the paranormal as one of these core elements. What's up, Pussfoot? Yeah, man, we got to figure it out. It's getting warm out. Yeah, we definitely got to chill, man. Let's see here. What is the hardest thing for you walking into an investigation? Um, I mean, it depends. Um, the hardest thing. Well, what kind of investigation? If I'm just going into a abandoned place or a place to do like an investigation of a place that's just haunted, it's a different ball game than actually going on a residential case. Um, because it's you're dealing with people that are enduring some sort of spiritual turmoil, and there's a lot of factors that come into play, what they're dealing with individually, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and the level of potential of how you may or may not be able to help these people, according to what's happening there, and also the lifestyle of the people. So I'd say like that would probably be the hardest part of dealing with some of the complicated cases that you can walk into, of people that you may not be able to help, not because of just the level of haunting, but also because of what they're doing in their life. They might just keep allowing it to come back in their life and things like that of that nature. Hey, Bay. And anyone just coming in, I'm doing a Q&A here on my YouTube, and I'm allowing people, if they want, they can listen in from Instagram as well. And if they want to ask me a question and call in through Instagram and share a story or ask me a question so you don't have to have the limitations of a chat box, you're more than welcome, because it's a feature I used to have on Periscope where people could call in and share their stories, and people really enjoy that until I start messing around with StreamYard, which I know that you're allowed to kind of do that sort of thing. Um, have you ever received what you feel have been angelic communication through the devices or angelic intervention? Um, I definitely have had an angel visit me before. There was a moment that it came to me in my bed about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And when it happened, um, I felt this bright light all around on top of my body. And it came with this unconditional just peace and love. The best way to explain it, which I've explained it before, is just this euphoric feeling, which I love unconditionally. The beach, the ocean, just that ocean now noise and being in the sun, magnified times a million. And the first thing it said to me was "Peace be with you," and something obviously you say in church, and it kind of gave me this whole thing of warning me and just guiding me what I'm going to be dealing with some of the evil spirits that are going to come my way. And there was a sentence that still lives with me today and for the rest of my life. Something it said to me, the angel, was believe in yourself to be greater than you think you are. And I think that's a very profound statement. Um, and not only, of course, it's good and important to have a faith, your faith in God and stuff like that, but I also believe that God wants us to accomplish the mission that we're supposed to, and we do that by acting it on ourselves. And if you don't believe in yourself, then how can you accomplish everything? We don't want to use God as a crutch. We use God and our angels as a guiding light so we can accomplish the mission for our soul that we were meant for while we're here. So that was a very profound experience for me, for one. And yes, if you guys want a copy of my books, you can get a copy on my website. If you want a signed copy, I mail out signed copies to people from my website, SeanDAustin.com, SEAN, D as in David, AUSTIN.com. And if not, you can get my both of my books on Amazon outside the country. Um, hey, Susie. Her question is, of all your investigations, have you ever had something follow you? And if yes, what do you do to expel it from you or your place? Susie, I've had many things follow me from all the places I've been. I've been probably hundreds of locations with spirits and stuff like that. Um, well, it depends. I mean, I bless the place, that I'm living at the time constantly, um, to kind of rid if something's kind of lingering for a while. So I'm always blessing, my place wherever I'm living. So it's just dependent if there's something a little bit more complicated, or if there's something a little different, unique, that I might have to take a different level or whatever it is, then I must do what I must do. All right, Pussfoot, sounds good, bro. I'll give you a shout. Okay, make sure. Okay, so Paranormal Explorer said, I need some assistance on something very serious. A few months ago, my mother was attacked in a dream. She was fighting the spirit, and it picked her up and threw her onto the floor. Um, yeah, I mean, that's pretty serious stuff if she was legitimately thrown off her bed by a spirit. Um, what are you doing to try to take care of that? I mean, if so, or not, are there other experiences that she's having, that might give more clue to what you're dealing with? Are there constant nightmares? Are there other things going on in the house? There's a lot of things I would ask. Sorry if she went through that. It's got to be terrifying, and I've experienced things of the same nature. Um, Susie asked, "What was your worst experience?" Gosh. I've had very terrifying experiences. I mean, I don't know if I could clarify like the worst. I mean, I've had, I've been visited by horned shadows with red eyes and yellow glowing eyes. I've been pulled out of my bed by my ankle. I've been growled at. I've been scratched. I've seen doors slam. You know, just hearing kids laughing in the bedroom to things trying to pull me out of my body in my sleep like a little girl to objects being thrown. I mean, like whatever you can think of, I've pretty much experienced it doing this. Going on like 12 years. Um, so I don't know. I'd have to think about like the worst experience. I mean, I just collectively I've had so much. I'd have to think about that one. And any of you guys that want to ask me a question and call in through the Instagram app here and speak, you're more than welcome to. I'm kind of doing this dual action here with YouTube and Instagram. Sounds good, Jason. Nice. Hello. Welcome. It's possible. You also, you got to look into every rational reasoning too before you think it's paranormal. Um, Here, I'm catching up on two chats here. No problem, Susie. A few nights ago, you were scratching your leg. That's happened to me too. And when I always tell people all the time, when you're sleeping, is you're most susceptible to the spirit realm and also the telepathic projections of spirits if they want to get a message across to you. And your subconscious is fully awake, your rational mind's fully asleep, and these things know that. The spirits know that, whether for good reasons, for desperate reasons, or bad reasons. That's why these things come to us, and it can induce fear within us the easiest. And that's why a lot of this stuff will happen to us when we're in bed. Eileen, um, if I could find more places to go and do that sort of thing, I'd love to. Um, it's just it's really you know I did have visions of him dragging something and rolling something up in something, rolling it down a hill. I've had very broad visions about it, and a lot of crazy stuff happened over the last year. I've just never involved myself to that level with the paranormal and dealing with like an unsolved murder case, and a lot of crazy stuff has come through, and you gotta be objective about what spirits say. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think that she's in one piece. If you want to give you, my opinion, which I think they all think now. All right. If anybody wants to ask me a question, like I said, I'm just doing dual chats here on my YouTube. And if somebody wants to call in with Instagram, because, again, I used to have this feature on Periscope where people can call in, and I feel bad until I figure out messing around with StreamYard. um, what's up, Shane? I just released my second book um, in October, and I definitely will release a third one at some point. I just been busy, a busy paranormal bee buzzing around the the country. I got some more big trips coming up. Um, during the first part of the quarantine, I told myself I wanted to be able to finish my second book, and with all that free time, I luckily got it done. Yeah, man. What is going on? How was Pittsburgh Hospital? No, was it Pittsburgh Hospital? That place was pretty nutty too. I was there like a month ago, 2 months ago. Lost track of time. Mexico, I think you can get my books Shadow Chaser and Shadow Chaser the In Between on Amazon in Mexico, I believe. So check and search it there. Yeah, they're super nice, man. Did you think the same? Well, I had the most creepy vibes in the nursing station and the surgery room. That's right. You know, I saw two yellow glowing eyes watching me from outside the surgery room. And then something nasty was with me by the nursing station. But there's just a lot of stuff swirling around there. I have to still review that investigation, see what else. I mean, there's nothing like going through your investigations and finding the stuff you missed. Something like, going to a new place you've never been to before on the paranormal bucket list. There's definitely one there. Yep, yep, definitely creepy vibes for sure in those places. Yeah, that was a cool spot. I'd say that one of the most unique places I've been to in a while was the place that I was just in North Carolina, the abandoned village that they used for Hunger Games film location. Um, it was nuts. We had the whole village to ourselves. We were staying in one house or cabin that was renovated, and we were by ourselves in the entire town. And we live streamed, and some of you guys were there, and it was insane the activity we're getting. And I can tell you again what happened. We were in this one part of the village, and like I just started hearing ritual in my head over and over again, and like we started getting demon names coming through, and we were inside one of the cabins, and we just felt like a real person was going to run up to the cabin like where they were watching us. It was just paranoia. And we like walked out of the cabin, and we're in a part of the village, and like we were disoriented. I felt like we were lost. I'm just like I just it was really bizarre. And then I looked over to the corner, and I saw these red glowing eyes peeking out from the side of one of the cabins, and I'm just like, dude, like something messed up happened right here. I don't know what it is, or they definitely did some sort of ritualistic magic here. And I'm just mentioning that too, and which I'll put on the video when I get catch up to my other investigations that I review and edit, put on YouTube. But the next day, I spoke to the security guy, and I point to him because I interviewed him the day before, and I point to him the exact area in the village where this like I'm like, dude, I kept on hearing ritual in my head, and we were getting all this creepy, nasty, evil stuff there. And I'm like, something messed up happened there. And he pulls me aside away from the tour, and he's just like, well, I don't like to talk about it too much, but like a few years back, quite a few years back, I was a cop, and I was called to the scene in the village, and there were three individuals there. There were two men and a woman, an inappropriate thing going on because we're on YouTube here. But she was the guys were taking turns, so to speak, on this other female individual, and there was pins in her stomach, and there was a drawn pentagram on the floor, and there was droplets of blood from her stomach going on the pentagram as this was occurring, and they were caught in the act of doing this thing. So, considering what we experienced in that area of the village, I was just floored knowing what was going on at the time. And I will post that, when I get catch up to that investigation and talk about it. Sean, is there a place you would not go investigate? My number one would be the Amityville house for sure. Again, because I wrote about it in my second book, I've had personal experiences involved with it. It's such a fascinating case. I would love to actually just be in that house for 24 hours. I don't do that sort of thing, Aaron. I mean, for me, I just use my abilities, but teach their own. Sorry, I'm catching up on dual chats here, making sure I don't miss a question here. Yes, that was in North Carolina. That's crazy, Nancy. Um, there could be references, Dazzler from anything in these boxes. It could be any of us for any reason. You know, you don't want to bring too much consideration to stuff just on possibility, though. You know, it's good to be aware of it, but be careful because then it could turn into something that it doesn't need to. Spirits are desperate for acknowledgement, and if it's something that's associating something that's going to induce fear within you, I would be very weary of that. I'm trying to like do this here where I can multitask here and do both. Okay, so yes, you can get it on Amazon if you're outside of the United States. If you're talking about my book, anyone has a question on here, you want to shoot it in chat on Instagram. But I'm also allowing that if someone wants to call in and ask a question, share a story about the paranormal. Because again, as I repeat myself, I used to have this feature on Periscope where people can call in and actually speak to me. And I know some of these stories can be complicated and very deep to explain what goes on rather than fit in a little chat box. So until I start messing around with StreamYard, I'm just winging this because I haven't done one in a few weeks. And the chat keeps disappearing in YouTube. Hey, what's up, Jen? Yeah, if you live in the US, get it off my website, SeanDAustin.com. I'll mail you a signed copy of either my books or my CDs with my music. Just looking at dual chats here. Again, if you want to ask me a question, tell me it on audio. You're more than welcome to come on my Instagram. It's Sean D. Austin from YouTube if you'd like, or just ask a question in chat here as well for anyone. I'm supposed to be a part of something in the fall, and I think it's in Massachusetts. Um, I possibly might be a part of one here in Connecticut in July, some Paracon in Connecticut, but that's still up in the air. Again, anyone wants to ask me a question, I'm kind of just dual chatting this with YouTube and Instagram here. Hey, Deb. Hey, Robert. What's going on? Have I been to Abigail's in Simsbury Haunted Restaurant? No, I have not. I don't think I've heard of that one. Can you watch me on any current TV shows? The two TV shows I was on, if you have Discovery Plus, The Demon Files and Ghost Loop, that's on there. If you want to watch it, or you can look it through Amazon. I think it's on all those stuff, rent it through all those other avenues. But right now, I'm doing all my live investigations and reviewed investigations, edited and so forth, for my YouTube channel. You just search Sean Austin Paranormal, and it'll pop right up. Yeah, haunted restaurants are always interesting. I've investigated quite a few. I do. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of Abigail's before. You never know, Deb. You never know. You never know who they're talking about. We can only speculate. I'm going to try to actually edit and review the investigation from the abandoned school that we did back in the fall because it was nuts. It was like as active as if we were at like a mental asylum. It was ridiculous. Have I been to the Queen Mary? No, I have not. Definitely on my paranormal bucket list. Definitely lots of places I still need to check out. Good evening, Sammy. I'd be open to hearing about it for sure. Yeah, Queen Mary for sure. It's famous. It's been famous for a very long time for that reason. I remember the old show. Was it Sightings? I mean, I think it was on Sightings and on Unsolved Mysteries with that psychic guy. I forget his name. Have you had an experience with the entity or spirit who were ready to cross over because of their unfinished business? Who are not ready to cross over because of their unfinished business? Um, I think it's one thing to note that I can't force spirits to cross over. I try to give them incentive to do so and give them reason to why they should be able to let go of whatever took place when they're a human being. Yeah, I mean, actually, I was just on a residential case. It's on my YouTube, and I'm going to go through and edit that too. It was the first time I actually had to keep praying, and everyone in the chat was praying. It was really just amazing. I believe I had psychically came up with this scenario that this man was abusing this woman in life, and the two of them were still there, and the energy was still pulsating in this bedroom, and the kid didn't want to sleep in there, and this guy would not let go of this woman, and I'm like praying, I'm like let her go, and through the spirit box, the man's like no, and I'm like let her go, no. I mean, it was like a push and pull, and I had to keep praying, and finally we got some validation that she finally left and hopefully found peace. That was the first time that was kind of like a real long struggle, and I had to pray longer. I mean, usually I can do it and something good happens or we get evidence of that. So that's just something that pops into my head. That was a really crazy night investigating, and I didn't expect that much activity. And we even heard a woman weeping in the basement, even caught on audio. People in the chat could hear it. It's definitely nuts. Yeah, that was pretty intense. It was like something right out of a movie, to be honest with you. And I'm sure some of the people that were there watching live, I thought probably thought the same thing. Yeah, Ryan was there. That was nuts. I'll check into that Paranormal Explorer. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not missing any questions from you guys. Definitely was a spiritual battle. Yes, Thank you, Belvin. Much appreciative. Hello, RA011117. Did you ever hear of the spiritual camp in Florida? Yes, I went to it, Nancy, once with my friend Amy. Actually, it was when after we filmed the pilot for Ghost Loop. I stayed for an extra day, few days, or a week or something. And we checked it out. It's a pretty fascinating place. Ate dinner there. It's like psychics all over the place. And I think that's something that we can only speculate about, but since the beginning, um, I've had, I remember watching documentaries of, say, for instance, like a father killed the family and then killed himself. So all the spirits of the entire family are there, and the man, the father, doesn't want to be accountable or be judged for his actions, and somehow there's this situation where he keeps them trapped, and he's able um, to keep them in a lower vibrational frequency, to keep them in a fear-based state, like probably like when they were alive, because it maybe an abusive relationship and the bad stuff that was going on when they were alive. And I've seen this from time and time again. It happens. I don't know the real reason behind it or how it happens, but it definitely does happen, and that's why it's good to go in there. And what I like to do with these cases is really get down on a direct level to individual level to these spirits and give them reason to move on if if they're trapped, and try to use I guess that's a unique way to actually do religious provocation, uh, to kind of have the chance of, even if it's a human spirit, if they're holding back the spirit, to give them a way to have a free will choice if they can cross over. So not having something trapping them, but once they are free of the grasp of whatever it may be holding them back, then they can be like, okay, now still have to have the courage to go. They have to accept God's unconditional love and forgiveness. So that's what I try to do is here. This is, I always say it all the time. It's like they're in a dark room, and I'm handing them a flashlight, and this is your chance to find your way out of this dark room. What you do with this flashlight is up to you. It's kind of like a homeless person. You want to give them something that's not going to help them, and that's in some of these cases. A lot of what happens, you go into a home, and you kind of just try to cleanse the home or whatever it is, and you're trying to displace the energies and just push them out. And in my opinion, that kind of risks the spirits from coming back. Is trying to get down to the gritty with them and trying to help them on an individual level. I think might bring a better chance of an outcome that would be positive for the spirits that are stuck in the house, trapped in the house, and also the people that are living in the house in a physical plane. No, I'm what I do. I'm a religious demonologist, paranormal investigator. So I do it from a Catholic term to banish any evil. That was the way I was taught. Hello, Andy. Well, I think even for myself and my abilities that I've experienced throughout the years, and I never knew I'd have some sort of psychic abilities. It can be overwhelming. It can be a little terrifying too, because you just don't know what to expect, and that's why it's good to kind of have a deeper understanding what you're experiencing and what can happen, so you don't have to be in a fear based mindset. Because if you're in a based mindset with your abilities, you might attract energies to try to manipulate that situation because you're more sensitive than your average person. It kind of reminds me of an experience I had when I was first having premonitions and weird experiences on a psychic level, and I didn't realize I was actually having a spiritual awakening. I thought just weird things was happening to me. I was paranoid. A demon was making me think I was psychic because I was reading books on demonology, and I'm like, they can make you feel like you're psychic and have psychic abilities, but you're really not from you. And I remember this hooded thing came to me while I was sleeping, and was choking me, and it had a hood, and it's like the transformation, and it's terrifying. You can think about that for yourself, but like now looking back at it, which I bring up a lot many times, is that I this thing knew I was going through a spiritual awakening, and it was using that time period bracket to um, to use that novice level that I was at and not understanding to try to get fear out of me, um, to freak me out so it could get energy in that position. So that's why it's good to read up on what you may have abilities wise, the characteristics of it, and how to protect yourself and have a deeper understanding so you don't attract those types of experiences. Yeah, right. Who's somebody that I'd like to investigate with? I'm open to investigating with anybody. That I haven't before. I think it's kind of everyone has their own methods of stuff, um, of doing stuff, and it's just a curious thing. Do I feel the veil is thinner now than ever? I think a lot of the panic and the freakouts from people in the last year, and just the anxiety and the fear, um, lifts the veil in a not good way because we attract a lot more of those energies. So it gives opportunities for a lot of the dark entities to come out of the shadows and manipulate situations. People are drinking more, doing more drugs because of they may be losing their jobs and fearful of the disease and all this crap. So there's a lot more scenarios for these things to feed off. So I definitely think not in a good way, in many ways. Did it look like from Harry Potter? It was just hooded and had black eyes, and that's the way it looked. It was just one of those things that's floating above me. You're concerned about yourself and your room. I'm Catholic, but I do believe in reincarnation. I do. I do believe in that. Any advice on how to open psychic abilities? Meditation. It's all about blanking up your mind. So when you see a psychic, a true psychic, and what they're supposed to do, and why we don't want to hear information is because once you actually hear information, your rational mind will try to fill in the blanks. So by going into a place, not knowing anything, by trying to receive and be an antenna, that's how you could receive information from a third person perspective or telepathically, whether you're tapping into something where you could be getting information from a spirit or something that's interesting theory as from the Akashic Records, which is a spiritual library that of everything that ever happened or ever will happen in the future. Um, so these are all things that you can happen through meditation, training your mind to block out your mind and not have your rational mind try to do that sort of thing, fill in the gaps where you can't have an objective opinion or theory into your abilities. So walking to a place and training your mind. So if you practice closing your minds for 15 minutes and focus on seeing an item behind your eyelids, that'll help your clairvoyance until you actually see it at the back of your eyelids. And or blocking out your mind, just trying to hear thoughts. That's words. That's clairaudience. That's how we hear spirits. And that's what happens to me. I hear words all day, not like I'm talking to you for the most part. It's like a text message to my head. It's just a word kind of passing by. It's a thought. I know it's not mine. It's me being receptive to what is around me and trying to project it telepathically. Yeah, like I said, when you're sleeping, you're most susceptible to these things, and they know they can get the best chance of. It's the most vulnerable position we are when we're sleeping, so that's what they'll do. I have not, and but yes, it would be interesting. Nobody wants to attract evil. Rashid, thank you so much about my songwriting. I do have, well, I have two CDs if you haven't got them yet from my website. I've been writing some songs here and there. I have a new song idea I want to work on. I haven't been able to finish because I've been running around. That is my other passion. I love doing it. I will definitely post that, and I'll do some live playing, performing on here for you guys as well. Um, I promise. Now it's getting warm outside. Maybe do it outside. I have never tried the Armenia box. Is that something an application for phones or? Yes, Vicky, which I'm sure you do too. It's been very active lately, very nuts. I don't know what to think about it. I really don't, but it's been really crazy. Thank you so much, Israel. God bless you too. Awesome, Nancy. Sorry, I'm catching up on these chats here. Yeah, man. Cool, Andy. Um, okay. All right. Yes, I mean protection from a spiritual standpoint is the most important thing, um, because the more you become awakened, then you attract all an assortment of entities too that can take advantage of that. So it's something to be aware of. Well, there could be someone just asked, is imagination and visions something that could be related to receiving the message when you meditate, or should your mind be blank? You have to understand. I've learned over the years of I've learned how to differentiate between something that's just a random dream of just nonsense and something that has a little bit more genuinity to its feel, to the visual, and I know that there's a spiritual experience within what I'm seeing, I'm experiencing. So that's something that I would try to pay attention to. So, your imagination could lead to being partly incorporated with the spiritual experience. And that's something that you have to learn and train for yourself to determine that, along that process. Christy, there's a story of there's a documentary coming out soon about my story I wrote about my first book of two women that I believed I crossed over and the evil man and demonic force that were pissed off at me for it. And it has stuck with me and lingered around for 5 years. And I realized it was responsible for something and lingered around and trying to sabotage me in personal ways. And I had to go back to the location and perform the exorcism ritual on the house. And it's going to be on the documentary that's coming out. It's called Malefice. There's a trailer on my Instagram. If you want to watch it, Sean D. Austin, Sean, D as in David, Austin. Austin. God, I'm speaking fast tonight. There'll be a trailer soon, a 2-minute trailer coming out as well. But that would be the one that would stick out to me. That's the most relentless spirit that has been around for so long. I noticed that the chat keeps disappearing on YouTube. So, hello, KK Slider. That's cool. Paranormal Explorer. I haven't seen that one. Sean, all the scary videos that I've seen, you made me a believer of spirits and ghosts, and it also gives me goosebumps all over my arms. God bless you, Sean, for your next investigation haunted places. Thank you so much, Israel. Glad you're having an experience and being a believer in what's happening, and hope to continue to do that for you as I've been using YouTube now for a few months, proficiently, consistently since I knew Periscope was coming to an end. Yes, if somebody wants to ask me a question, call in on my Instagram. I'd be glad to do that. Obviously, I have some people that are just on Instagram asking questions in the chat, which they're more than welcome to do as well. Definitely, Laurel, agree with the comment about the dreams, learning between psychic, spiritual experience, and random dreams. I've seen and spoken to spirits since I was a child. Do you collect special items from each different case, like Lorraine Warren did? Nope, I have not done that. I have given haunted items to other people that collect it, like Ed Warren's nephew, um, John Zaffis, which I just did recently. I have a blessed medal here. It's been touched by the relic of the true cross. Anything it touches is considered a third class relic. It's a St. Michael pendant. My pendant is mentioned many times, as you guys can see on my live streams. Um, it does mention my pendant a lot when I go places. So that is one of the things I wear all the time for protection. What's up, man? Yeah, you got to have some sort of ammunition here, spiritual ammunition, if you will, going to these places. That's crazy, Alicia. Is it bad I saw a black figure and a few minutes later see a white figure while camping? Usually shadowy figures are usually not a good thing. Um, Something else could be a completely different energy, different spirit, different ball game. So it just depends. I couldn't tell you one or the other. You have to pay attention to your feelings when you're around a spirit. If you feel like someone's eyes are on you, and it's the feeling like you're walking down a dark alley and someone wants to harm you, um, or want to rob you, come out of the shadows. You can feel it. That's your natural gift. It's your natural intuition. So these are feelings that will come along with a certain type of spirit that might be around you that you'd be like, okay, I don't feel right. Something's wrong. Oppressive, pressure on the chest. Some spirits don't like to reveal themselves. They like to play their games from the shadow because they want to continue a cycle of something that they might want to do to the individual, depending on if it was invited in specifically by something or, you know, whatever the spirit is, human spirit, inhuman spirit. There's just a lot of different reasons what it might be doing and why. Good evening. Hey Claudia. I make my niece's trouser dressmaker after I hear the thunderstorm sound without flash. It's weird, but I was going out on the balcony and the little plants. Huh. How do you unblock what? Your abilities? Oh, what's up, Dave? Yeah, man. Saw you that you were calling live streaming here. I'm on Instagram here too. It's going ape shit over here. Well, that's not good if you're having reactions of a cross being around you, buddy. When I'm home alone, I felt like I was being watched, and I get really hot sometimes, and sometimes get really cold and start to feel sick. If these are paranormal reasons, then there could be something there that's making you feel that way. Robert said, "I just finished the chapter in your second book, The Spider Demon. Have you been back to that mysterious cabin on 360?" Robert, I was just there. It was my first legit stream live on YouTube. I think it was back in December or January. No, wait, no. I think it was December. And that's on this channel, and I will edit and review that down. Luckily, I did not see any spiders that time. Meditation, Alicia, probably practicing to being open to it and acknowledging it more again and not be afraid of it. All right, bro. Sounds good. Home surveillance system? Yeah, someone like me. Yeah, there's always shit going on. Do I really want to know what's flying around the place where I'm sleeping? It's been since I was a child. I'm now 34. It's done things to people that close to me, basically scared people. That's it. Some of these spirits can become possessive over the people um, for undisclosed reasons. Again, finding out more information of what it is, why it is there, and how it has permission to be around you, what its intent is, are things that you have to try to figure out what its ultimate goal is. And if it's not good, you need to get rid of it. I have no idea, Anne. I have no idea. That's a good question. I have no idea. Also, when I was feeling I'm being watched, it's also over by my laundry room and kitchen also. But yeah, these things will bounce around your place. Sometimes they want to be noticed, sometimes they don't. It depends, what they're trying to do. If they're trying to induce fear, they might take it to the next level and show you something. The nightmares when we're in bed, again, is the most vulnerable moment when us as human beings are. We're laying down, we're trying to sleep, be relaxed, and be in a fantasy land, comfortable place. And these things know that and will take advantage of it. How many spirits have you helped pass over to the other side since you began paranormal investigations? I can't really be certain, Anonymous. Again, I have feelings that I cross over these spirits. I will be shown images, and that's why I leave the spirit box on to give that extra level of validation. Do I believe that I've definitely crossed over spirits? Absolutely. Can I prove that? I can't. I won't know until my last breath. But, like I said, even this documentary coming out, Malefice, about one of those circumstances, like for 5 years, I've had these evil spirits wanting revenge and retaliation against me because of just that, because they told me that I took in souls away from the devil, and they want to take revenge for that reason. So I really don't think that these things would be telling me that if that wasn't the case. Um, and I don't think spirits would be patronizing me and telling me that they're going into heaven all these times if it wasn't happening. But I can't just sit here and be like, oh no, all these. I'm not going to tell you for a fact that all these spirits are crossing over. It's kind of like feelings that I'm getting, and a belief because of my feelings, because of the experiences, because of the words that are coming through the devices, on top of my intuition and my psychic abilities, that I do believe that this is definitely happening. So, but I'm not going to go here and say, oh, I've crossed over, hundreds of spirits. But do I believe I've helped a bunch of spirits? I do. Ryan, ghost emojis for Mr. Ryan. Ryan was out with me yesterday, and also the haunted road. We're definitely going to go back to that haunted road again. It was absolutely insane. And if you guys aren't aware, when Ryan and I were driving back after the haunted road, windows closed, midnight, we heard a baby cry in the car with us. He slammed the brakes and he's like, no, no, no way. Turned around, nobody was there. No idea what just happened. But considering what was going on while we're at the haunted road that night, it's not surprising. So just to give you a little tidbit with that. Alicia, there's something that I was told many years ago to find out. She has a question about how do you find out the name of your guardian angel. So what they say you can actually do is before you go to sleep, you ask your guardian angel to give you their name. And when you wake up, the first name that comes to mind is the name of your guardian angel. Sean, do you think demons intentionally try to avoid setting off detection devices or have the intelligence to avoid them? They definitely have super intelligence, and they would only be setting off detection devices for calculated tactics to mess with you, cause chaos, to get recognition, and in the end, it wants suffering to happen to the individual it has permission to do so, and everyone around that person as well. The other day, I had a dream of me playing a Ouija board, and then see the Bunny Man. uh, That's Bunny Man. That sounds terrifying. Hopefully, it's the Nesquik Bunny if he shows up in my closet, because I'm a real fan to him. Oh, thanks, Ryan. No worries, Linda. Welcome. Glad to ask a question if you'd like. Misty, thank you. Ghost emojis for Misty. Um, can you have more than one guide? Absolutely. I think most of us probably have two or three. We might have some loved ones and some legit angels watching over us, wanting us to accomplish our mission, whatever that is, sole purpose, before we pass away. Well, if you're open to spirits, YV movie, more things will happen to you when you're open to spirituality in general. You'll attract these experiences. And again, thank you guys if you're just coming into here in YouTube. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and share it out if you can, or if you have, thank you. Do you know how to can contact a ghost without a spirit box or anything like that? Well, KK Slider, since I have medium abilities, yeah, it happens all day. I hear spirits talk all day, passing thoughts constantly. Um, there's names that I hear every day, and I could just sit here and just, I stop on it and I just heard the name Mandy. It's there. It's right there. It's around me. Being a medium, having this sort of abilities, um, it comes in like waves on and off. It's kind of like activity as a whole. Sometimes you go to a location, it's really active, and another night it's just quiet. It's something that fascinated me when I began as an investigator. And I've told you guys before how I believe that water. I mean, we all believe it in the field mostly that water is a conduit to paranormal energy. Um, and I believe that the moon phases have something to do with increasing and decreasing paranormal activity as a whole. And you think about what the moon does to all the water across the entire planet. Planet's mostly water. Um, so you know, there's lots of things that come into play with that and makes you wonder and become even more fascinated with it endlessly, which is a continuous journey. Sorry to hear that, Alicia. My condolences. There's a hotel, the Crescent Hotel, and when I walked in that hotel, I felt a burst of energy. Yep, was just there, KK Slider. I live streamed it here on my YouTube channel, and the place was very, very active, very nuts. Yep, a river can totally be activating stuff for sure, Alicia. Do you have a specific set of psychic abilities or do they vary? Good question, Jen. When I first started to have stuff happen to me, it was premonitions. Then, I would be on investigation. I remember like I was walking around with Greg, my friend who started out investigating with me a lot on scope in the beginning and just going out in general before I even started live streaming. We would just go out with a couple of recorders just to have an experience. Um, I remember one night we were walking in the Portal Cemetery. Some of you guys know that. Wrote about my book. Had many experiences there. I heard someone go, "Watch out!" And I turned to him. And I was just like, "Did you just hear someone say 'watch out'?" And he's like, "No." And I was recording audio at the time. And when I went back to the recording, you actually hear "watch out," and then you hear, "Did you hear someone say 'watch out'?" Now at the time, I didn't think it was psychic ability, but it was one of those things that was progressing more and more. So my abilities now, I've had premonitions, visions, remote viewing, um, psychic smells. I can pick up an item and feel energy from it. I've seen flashes of aura around people. I can see balls of light, different colors. People with attachments. I've seen black balls of energy hovering over their shoulder. Even just walking through down the street, I'll see like a black ball just chilling over somebody or even an angel because they're usually blue and stuff like that. You know, obviously mediumship is hearing the clairaudience of spirits, spirits speaking to me, flashes of imagery, which is clairvoyance that spirits give to me. Um, my body reacts to walking into a haunted location. My body's just one big antenna. I guess the more I do it, the more I use it again, the more I can develop it, harness it, and use it for the greater good. Sometimes it's hard to reach out and tap into stuff, especially when I'm live streaming. I'm holding a bunch of camera stuff, but sometimes it happens so strongly, and it comes over me, and I just start downloading. And I know some of you guys have seen this. It's just like boom, 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 boom. And it's just like you never know. What if I get something that I think is going to be prevalent while I'm investigating? I'll announce it and I'll say it. I'll say that I'm feeling something. And and I look for some of the other devices to validate my feelings because that's what we all look for when we have psychic abilities. We want to have validation of what we're feeling or seeing or hearing. Someone asked, "Do I have workshops or mentoring?" No, but I'm in the process of revamping my Patreon, and I'm going to put some new features on there for people that are interested in that sort of thing. I'm looking into letting people review evidence with me for some of the investigations and showing you guys what I hear, as well as maybe doing um, maybe some paranormal 101 that people want to ask me and things of that nature. So that's something that I'm going to be looking into, and I will post and share online, social media, as I do that in the coming weeks. Hold on, make sure I didn't miss a question here. I survived a heart attack, and a reading she told me my work is not done. Thank God I'm a procrastinator. Jeez. Well, glad you're still here, man. Have you ever met someone who can see the spirits? Yes, quite a few times, and now I'm one of them as well. Um, hey, Nina. Interesting. My mom still tells me I'm crazy. My daughter, whom is sixth generation, sees here, smells spirit. Well, I think it's good to embrace your abilities no matter what anyone's speaking of. Scott, what is up? My old good friend there. Scott and I used to be in a band together many years ago. Paranormal 101 sounds like a great idea. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Good to hear from you. Um, like I said, I'm kind of like dual chatting here on YouTube as well. Um, in case somebody wants to ask me a question on Instagram, if you want to come on video chat and ask me a question or share a story, that's what I'm doing right now for anyone. Again, because I had that feature on Periscope before, but I do know that I'm going to play with StreamYard, and I think I'll be able to do that for people through there once I play around with that and learn it. Yeah, man. Hope the family's doing well. Your daughter and the wife, Scott. Yeah, and I was lucky. I mean, my parents were supportive in what I'm doing. They believe what I'm doing. I think my mom's a little freaked out from some of it, but now she's, full on watching everything, investigations and stuff like that. But it's especially kids, if they're having some sort of experience as a child, they're an impressionable stage, and they're most susceptible to the spirit realm because they're fresh from the spirit realm. They just got here, and they haven't been contaminated with irrational perspectives of being in that impressionable stage. So they may see things and feel things and have that natural psychic gift because we all have that psychic gift, and a lot of kids are more connected, and before they get polluted into the perspectives of ghosts aren't real, those things, and so that's why spirits will gravitate towards kids to try to get their energy from them, or their message across, or whatever the intent of that individual spirit is. So I think it's good to be open to um, you know what kids are saying, even if it's silly. Somebody wants to come on and ask a question.
Hey Sean, how you doing?
How's it going, buddy?
It's going. Yourself?
Not bad, not bad.
So you talked about wanting to share stories, and it's funny you got me when you started talking about things that happened as a kid. I'm 23, and like you, I have abilities, but up until about a year and a half ago, it was mostly friends and family, and even that was limited who I would share it with. And it wasn't until I met somebody, I believe you're familiar with who she is. I went to see Cindy Kaza when she came to my hometown and did a live event.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until I saw how this stuff works out and how normal it actually is that I started being more open about it. And I really started educating myself and doing workshops and stuff like that. But um, one of the stories I've never really told that I feel people need to hear is when I was 9 years old, I had a demonic attachment. And my parents, at the age of 4, I started hearing spirit. My parents thought I was schizophrenic. And they decided that, oh, well, Adderall, anything like that can fix it, right?
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I fell into that stigma. And I was medicated for 16 years. When I was 9 years old, my doctor decided to take me off of it, and it left me extremely vulnerable. And I didn't know this, and I didn't wasn't even able to piece all this together till I was 20. and to
Wow.
actually go back and think about the things that happened and the things that I saw that I thought were just my imagination. And I'll never forget this. When I was 9 years old, one night, um, I just, something snapped in me, and I don't remember what set me off, but I just had hit that point at a little 9-year-old kid where I couldn't do this anymore. And something in me told me the only way to end it is to end yourself. And I'll never forget, as soon as I decided that that was it, this, the only way I can describe it is I know it's a demon, and I know that it was the demon that I had submitted to. And tree bark for arms, kind of twisted limbs. The touch was cold, and I I don't know how to get people to ever understand this, but I know that it was not me pulling on that cord to take my life.
Hmm.
It was something else, and I just, from there on out, after I survived and I went through, I was never the same. And my abilities, as I got off the medication a couple years later and I started studying by the time I was 14, my life was never the same. And now I'm 23 and I'm just getting to the point where I'm starting to have a normal life.
Mm.
And so you talk about demons telling you that you've screwed them and they're going to take your life. I mean, I totally believe that that is possible because these things can be so nasty. I mean, you think people in life, child molesters, murderers, serial killers, these things are even worse. But the thing is you talk about willpower is everything, right? And I don't know about you, but I know in my experiences, even at rock bottom, there was something inside me that knew I couldn't give up. And whatever you want to call it, that natural light, that natural instinct, whatever you want to call it, but it just, my whole thing about wanting to share this is even at your lowest points, no matter how dark we come face to face with, whether it's alcoholism, mental illness, or actual demons, your light is never snuffed out. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
I've always seen that.
Yeah, man. Well,
So
first of all, man, I want to say, thank you for sharing this story. And I think, even when I got oppressed for the first time, I know that, in my opinion, that God let me go through that to have a deeper understanding what people go through on a psychological and spiritual level and what these things can actually do to you. Because so many
yeah,
people watch, Hollywood movies and they think, oh yeah, just furniture flying around, and it's really the psychological breakdown and the third person attacks from the psychological standpoint, what they're projecting onto you. They can amplify any sort of negative emotion a human being can have. That's the most
yeah,
delicate, dangerous element of the paranormal that we deal with. And you're talking about a species, the enemy of man, that literally want to break us down and not be recognized what they're doing. They want to cheerlead on any sort of suffering within you or anyone around you to make you want to give up on life, because they want to make a mockery to the creation of human beings and say, look up to God and say, look, man can't handle what life throws at them. And I think even in your circumstance too, as you sit there and have this positive message, you're alive right now. It's a blessing to be alive, right now, and also share that message, um, to be strong for other people. And I think that's, you were meant to go through what you're going through, but and you still have medium abilities, and to use it for good, and to know what those things are around you. And I think, it's obviously, I'm sure it's made you stronger in many ways. Do you agree?
yeah. I do agree, and I also wanted to touch about when you talked about crossing spirits over and never really knowing, but getting those feelings or those scenes in your head through your clairvoyance. I know for me is when I cross spirits over, I always send them to the foot of the cross to be judged. Because I like you said, I that experience of a lot of things. I am a big believer in God, and God is a big part of my life, and He's a big part of everything that I do.
Hmm.
And honestly, I know for me that when I do that, I always get this image of it's just a field full of sunflowers. and it's something that symbolizes peace,
Hmm.
and that they found peace. So I don't know what scene in your head you see, if it's always the same one or it's a different one, but
It
what
is.
your
It is.
feeling is.
Actually, it is. And when I do these live investigations and I pray for spirits, you all know, when a female crosses over, I see a white dove in my mind's eye, and when it's a man, it's a white horse. And I think, even just to give it a broad example too, like I know Teresa Caputo, I believe she has a whole book of symbolic psychic symbols, uh, that she's given that will mean something. Um, that she makes sense. That's why I call it like spiritual charades. They're going to show you stuff that you can associate and get used to or accustomed to, that will help you kind of understand what's taking place, or to help you, translate that message that you may want to give to the person you're reading, or whatever it is, helping on a case or whatever it may be.
Right, exactly, for sure.
Yeah, and it's just we can't, obviously we get feelings and stuff, and these spirits, I mean, having the intent to try to help these spirits is good enough in itself. If we make an effort to try to help them, that's all we can do in the end. It's kind of like walking by a homeless person. Are you giving them money that they could go buy drugs and or drinks, alcohol with, or do you give them food to survive from? And in our instances, on a spiritual wavelength, and we're offering them a light to get out of the dark room. And what they do with that is up to them, because we can't force them to go. It's kind of like here, speaking to them and giving that intent of saying, look, man, it's okay. You can let go. Whatever took place in your life, you got to let go of it, whether it's something that was done unto you or something you feel guilty of, because God's the most unconditional, loving, and forgiving energy that ever was or ever will be. And they need to understand that so they can have the courage to go towards the light and not be afraid of that next level judgment, which a lot of these spirits become earthbound because of that.
Yeah, and another thing too is with that. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had it happen where it takes multiple times. It's like talking to a stubborn person. Multiple no's, multiple yeses, multiple conversations of understanding where you have to break down those walls,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
work with the spirit just to get them to understand the circumstances of what's happening to them and what they can do and what their choices are.
Yeah. It's just dependent on, I mean, really, the personality of who they were as a human being is translating into the earthbound setting they are consciously and energetically. And since they have not let go, I mean, that's the reason why they're earthbound, is because they haven't let go of the human element. They think that we're humans as a core, when it's not the case. Our souls came here infinitely from another place to use these bodies as a vessel to learn, progress, to bring a brightness to our soul if we accomplish that mission and let go of that human life, and then translate and you know
Yeah.
you know return back home to where we came from, to have the deeper understanding why we came and why we went through and endured what we did in our individual lives in the physical plane. And that gap in between is where these, what we call ghosts, I believe, take place, is because they get lost within themselves.
And that's one of the things that I kind of explain to people when they ask me those kind of questions is this is purgatory. I mean, this is purgatory in many ways, because to me the definition of purgatory has always been the middle place where you do all your learning,
Hmm.
right? So and that's kind of what the way I've always tried to explain it to people is that because we are here with that soul contract and we do have free will at play, and we can coexist with the spirit world in this space, in this time, that this kind of is purgatory, but at the same time, that's not.
Hmm.
Because when people think of purgatory, they think of somewhere where you're stuck, where you can't move on, and the
Hmm.
choices that you don't have.
Hmm.
And so to kind of bounce it around.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's a roller coaster ride, this whole experience, but we're here for a reason,
Oh,
and
yeah, it is.
everyone's got to understand that. I mean, it's really tough to hear, like, there's always someone that has it worse than us, and sometimes we get caught up in ourselves, and we don't want to hear it. It doesn't help our situation to make us feel any better. We're supposed to just sympathize, but we have our own demons that we got to deal with in our lives, whatever it may be, metaphorical demons or literal demons. And obviously, whatever we're meant to endure, as an obstacle, um, we have an opportunity to overcome that, and God knows that, and wouldn't put us through anything that we couldn't accomplish through.
And sometimes you have to pack it up and put this shit on the shelf
Yeah.
and be normal for a little bit just so you get it done.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, you can't let this, and that's one of the things that was always told to me with this is you make a choice, but the moment it becomes, you start to feel like an obligation, is the moment you need to pump the brakes because it's not supposed to feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to feel like you're in control and not that you're doing something just because you have to.
That's right.
So, well, Sean, thank you for taking the time to let me share mine and let me speak to you. And this has been super cool. Appreciate
man.
it.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
All right. Take it easy, boy. Have a good day.
You too, man.
All right. Thank you, bud.
You're welcome. No, somebody else had a question. I think my battery's kind of low on my second phone here. Maybe I'll.
Hello.
How you doing?
I was outside. Hello. How are you?
How we doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm Yoli. Nice to meet you.
Yoli, nice to meet you.
I watched a couple of your episodes on YouTube. I kind of like to browse and see like who the real people are, and
Yeah.
you know, kind of get a feel because I move around a lot, so I don't actually get to like meet any guides or anybody to kind of help me through it. But yeah. So my first experience, I was 5. My grandma had a stroke in front of me, and then the day of her funeral, she came to me with the 2 angels.
Wow.
And that's how I kind of knew it was real.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward 8, I got told by like an aura picture taker that I had like a rainbow aura, and I was the first time on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so then I just got told like, you know, you're gonna have to deal with spirit. Well, it kind of got a little chaotic when I moved to Hawaii as an adult. Like a lot of stuff happened in between there, but there's like so many stories. Just like everyone has so many stories of their experiences through youth and growing up.
Sure.
But it got very chaotic in Hawaii. I moved into housing where it was bombed in Pearl Harbor, and that's how I knew things were communicating with me. And I knew for sure. Like, and I broke down and I went to a psychiatrist, and I was like, hey, I'm hearing a lot of voices. There's a lot of problems. They're very angry. And it got to a point we actually had to remove, like, we just used an old Catholic Roman. Sorry, my TV's on. I don't even know where the remote is. My kid put it somewhere.
No worries.
Hopefully the background's not bothering.
No worries.
So basically, we used an old Catholic Roman. We had these orbs that would like ricochet from our walls anytime we would have fun. We had to move my son from his room because it would basically say like bad things to him, and he was really young. And so we took him from his room. The night we took him from his room, we had a dresser, a bunk bed with no mattresses, and a lamp sitting on the dresser.
Mm-hmm.
And we were laying in bed, and I hear like this ripping noise. And we go in the room, the lamp's on the floor, but I'm like super OCD, so I put the like dresser against the wall, and then I had the lamp like plugged into the wall, so I like pushed against. So there's like no way to like pull it out. You have to pull the dresser to get the plug out.
Sure.
And it was like bent. The things are just like bent in half. No windows open, anything. And that's when I'm agnostic. I grew up Catholic and apostolic at the same time. And then I became agnostic when I was 21, just because I do believe in God, but I also do believe in aliens. So
sure.
Allows me to have that openness. But we did an old Roman Catholic prayer, and after that, we didn't have any issues with that spirit in particular. But I've had, so long story short, ever since I was little, people have close to me have told me there's this black shadow that like is around me sometimes. And it's like it'll scare people. Like one time with my ex, I was coming out of the bathroom taking a shower, and he flipped out and pushed me out of the way because he said there was a big man, dark man behind me. And another time something had pushed the bag down the stairs at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's followed me for like anywhere I live, anywhere I go, anyone I associate with, and especially people that have never seen a spirit or believes in spirits. It
Right.
shows itself to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's never to me. I've never seen it. I can feel it. I know it's there sometimes. It says my name. It knows who I am. And I just don't know I don't know what to do with it.
Right, right. Well, I mean, I don't know if that was you, but like, I mean, I was bringing up like how sometimes spirits are possessive people, or there could be some sort of ties that could go even into your lineage. I mean, there could be something that goes deeper, in your family, where there could be some sort of connection to why this thing's around you and kind of just hides, or, is there something that you did when you're younger? I mean, do you mess around with any sort of,
Well, see, I mean, so this was happening before. So like my cousin was really into witchcraft when we were like 10 through like 14.
Mm-hmm.
But this was happening before she did that. Like, so I don't really. It's like kind of crazy to talk about this on live. People don't know. But one time we went to this party, and my cousin wanted to play light as a feather, stiff as a board with her other cousin from her side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were playing. They pulled like a board out. They put it onto my cousin's stomach, and she was like on her back. And we started doing it, and my cousin actually levitated off the ground a little bit and then freaked out and fell down. And
Okay.
then like everyone ran out of the room but me, because I wasn't after I saw my grandma, I wasn't scared anymore. It's just I so much I didn't want it. I didn't want it in my life. I just denied it. Like I knew it was there. Like I saw, like I said, between seeing my grandma and what happened in Hawaii, I have probably like 15 different interactions that I've had throughout my life with different things, but this one thing won't go away.
Well, do you think maybe that's tied to that that night when you with the Ouija board and the levitation? Because I mean, even people in the room could be. I mean, it could target somebody it's invited into the space. So I mean, there definitely is a possibility that could be a factor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot, and I've recently decided, like I have young kids. Well, not young anymore, but I have kids, and I never wanted to like do anything about gifts because I was worried it would like trigger something, and kids are vulnerable, and bad spirits want children, and so I was always worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always denied it. Every time I hear a voice, every time I hear a shadow or something gets moved, I just, okay, it's not happening. Like I pretend like it's not there because I don't know personally how to properly handle it. Other than one time, right. I mean, and I don't even think it necessarily went away. I just said it got really quiet. Because the neighbor that moved in after me, I guess they had a lot of problems in the house too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's some of my experience. Kind of in a nutshell to kind of condense it down without telling the whole story.
Right, right. So it kind of just it kind of shows itself to people that are around you. Mostly, it kind of just
mostly men that I'm with, but it has been friends too. I've had girlfriends come over, or friends, people that I've never known before come to my house and say, I saw this black shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I know when it's around, because like the air gets a little different. You get that feeling, a little bit of feeling in your chest. And then it does speak to me. So like it does it when I'm usually on the phone. I go to my car a lot and I talk on my phone, stuff like that. And so it'll say my name. One time it scared the crap out of me. I got out of my car so quick because like it said my name so loud. It scared the crap out of me. And I just jumped out of my car, and I was just like, okay, I'm not, like I can't not go back to my car, but so.
Right. Well, I know that you partly were brought up through Catholicism. I'd be glad to send you maybe some prayers to say that maybe you can see what happens from that.
I'm not Catholic anymore.
Okay.
I was kind of forced into it as a child because that's what my mom did, and then on my father's side we were agnostic, and that's why I'm agnostic, because I've saw angels. Like, if angels are real, God has to be real.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also seen alien activity. Every year for 4 years straight, where I'm from in Ohio, we had aliens come watch the fireworks with us. Like, you would see their formations, So, like,
In the
I
sky?
believe in God, but I also believe that there's other things, and being an agnostic allows me the freedom to have that spirituality, but also the awareness of things not of this earth.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, that's, these things can do that sort of thing though with the shadow. It's interesting. It'd be an interesting thing to try to figure out what it wants. Obviously it's good that you're not being attacked. It's kind of just showing itself. It's just in weird
Yeah,
circumstances.
I mean, a couple of times I've had a few aggressive instances. That's why I say most of the time it's very dark. But there are times where it has, like, I used to be terrified of the dark, and I trained myself, because I do a lot of security work, so, like, you can't be afraid of the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's been times where I've been scared, like, terrified.
Mm-hmm.
But I just pull myself back in and I say, if it's meant to be, they're going to feed off it. So act like it doesn't affect you.
Right.
I mean, but some of the things that you were, like, talking about earlier with, like, how you see when you, like, I've never seen, like, a sign of a spirit passing over or anything like that. But I mean, I've had a couple, like, things that you brought up correlate with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm big into speaking with the ancestors. One thing I can confirm 100% is that when I go to bed and I pray to the ancestors, that I do feel them and I do hear them. And that's one comfort for me to know that they're there.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. So the alien stuff is kind of like they just show up in the sky and you're just seeing these strange things in formation.
Yeah,
You're saying?
where I'm from in Ohio, we had this, like, every year we had a fireworks show where I'm from, and they would have this, like, triangle formation, and then as the fireworks would end, one would take off right after the other one out of the sky. And then I really hope there's no one on here that's gonna make jokes, but one summer, the park is about 15 minutes away from where I'm from, but there's a still mill, and a lot of people have had a lot of weird experiences with, like, UFO around the still mill, and my house was right down the road from it. And one summer, a lot of people were talking about this, like, formation, and I started to see it, and then I started having these dreams about these, like, and I think because I'm a kid and I believe, like, aliens are real, that maybe, I don't know if it's real or fake, but I started having these dreams that this child alien was lost here, and it was, like, living in our, like, wood, like, our wooded behind our house. I was trying to help it, and then it's eventually, after a course of, like, maybe 6 weeks, the parents aliens came down and like, got the kid. So it was all dreams. Like, I would wake up in the morning and I would assume they were dreams. But my mom convinced me when I was 5 that the thing with my grandma was a dream. And I explained to her over and over, I was like, there's no way it was a dream, because 2 giant balls of light came from my aunt's corner of a room with no windows there. And then I heard my grandma's voice. I was like, there's no way. And my grandma said to tell you she's not in pain anymore. My grandma had a stroke in front of me, and for 3 days was in complete pain. And she kept saying, I just don't want to be in pain anymore.
Right.
And I just don't. And then my mom said, like, my mom had suffered from PTSD from Desert Storm. And so my mom told me years later that she's had things happen to her, but she just correlated it with her PTSD from Desert Storm and never really. And then my aunt came forward a couple years ago and admitted that she like had like clairvoyance where things have happened, and you know, so it's like all of our family is starting to like come out and say certain things because I like it's norm now to believe in spirits. It back then in
Oh,
the
I know.
90s, early 2000s, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you had Sylvia Brown, and that was about it.
Oh, I
You know,
know.
like you know,
Montel Williams.
they're all kooks. You know, like that's what everyone thought. And so now that we're having more proof of these things, and which, by the way, I want you to know that like out of everything I've ever watched, your documentation of the proof is the best I've ever seen, like the truest, because you can really tell when someone's staging things. I'm not going to name names, but I've watched a lot of shows where they stage things, and
Yeah.
it makes me very mad because I've seen spirits. I've seen a little dead boy and girl brother.
My phone just died. Oops. Maybe I can go back on and grab a battery. Let me do that really quick. Sorry about that, guys. My battery was dying pretty quickly, and I felt bad because she was explaining something. My phone died. Okay. I'm going to try to get this going for her and turn this phone back on after it goes above 1%. I'll jump back on there because, you know, it's fascinating to hear everyone else's stories and their experiences, and it means something to them. It's something that I did before I even got involved myself. I would just watch documentaries and just be drawn to all the people and their experiences and what was going on, and really believed in some of their stories. If you're just coming in here, appreciate if you can give this video a thumbs up if you haven't. It helps with these videos getting out there as I'm trying to build my channel and what I'm doing. Thank you so much, guys. Just reset my phone here because I felt bad. Try to get this going here. While we're waiting here, does someone want to ask me a question here before I jump here on Instagram too? That was really amazing. The first guy that came on and shared that amazing story, what he went through as a child. I mean, pretty crazy stuff. I think it's important. I think it's great to be able to come out and share those stories and help. You know, that may help someone. And that's why, you know, even me with my experiences, sharing them, writing books, and coming on here, and all of us discussing this stuff is all a positive thing. Hey, David, do I believe in aliens? I think there's other life out there. There's too many infinite amount of solar systems to not be other life out there. It's just too much. Have I ever experienced something? Have I seen stuff flying in the sky that's looked like an UFO? Yeah. But for me, it's always been more interesting to me the ghost stuff because ghosts are everywhere. They're right there with us. The alien stuff and then the Bigfoot, it's like so hard to like extract an experience or have something go down. Older phone goes a little bit slower. Anyone have any questions here? Obviously, doing this for a little bit. Got some interesting stories here from a couple of people, and that was something really cool that I was able to do on Periscope before. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate that. Robert, I'm working on that. I'm working on that. It's going to be soon. I'll have shirts and pictures on my website soon, and I'll be revamping my Patreon too. Sorry about that, guys. My battery died, and I put it on an external battery. So come back on if you'd like. Sorry about that. I just put a battery on the external battery on my phone here because it was draining pretty fast.
Hey, sorry, it's getting my son dressed. But no, I don't know. Oh, the last part you heard was, but I did want to hear some from you. I mean, I guess I did say a lot, and I guess I'd like to hear maybe some of your advice.
Well, I mean, with the shadow thing, well, obviously, I mean, I take things from a Catholic perspective and how I approach the paranormal. Um, I would try to say some revoking prayers to try to relinquish the permission to whatever it's doing to linger around me and kind of torment me or whatever it's trying to do and mess with my friends or freak me out or anything like that. So, um, I would try to figure out where it gained access to me and how, um, because
Yeah.
there's got to be some sort of entry point where it was allowed to come into your life. There's got to be some sort of invitation. And is it the Ouija board? Is it something when the levitation you said took place? I don't know. I mean, those are all
Yeah.
possibilities.
I'm listening. Yeah, I don't know either. I just I know that a lot of people with gifts and like I don't know what to label them. I'm not really good with labels. Like people with gifts, they have come up to me and been like, "We've got a lot of gifts that you don't use," and I'm like, "How do you know?"
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "You think I freaking knows?"
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. I don't share like I share a lot. I'm an activist. I share a lot about that, but
Mm-hmm.
don't ever really share that much personal about my life. So I figured I'd go the world and see what happens.
Yeah. And I agree with you, by the way, with seeing people and staging evidence and stuff like the pound because they do it obviously for attention, because they just think about you know being a famous star, and it aggravates me because I mean it makes a bad name for someone like myself and the people that are actually truly passionate about the subject, and you just see these idiots running around with strings or just editing crap down. That's something that another reason why I actually like live investigating for me, and I've been doing it for so many years because, you know, a lot of these people need the editing to have their investigation look better than it actually is, because they can't really investigate in real time, and they won't be able to extract the type of evidence or events from a paranormal perspective, because they really just don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
or have the intent
Yeah.
to do it.
It upsets me because I know what the pure fear of walking into. So in Kentucky, there are still cotton fields there, and I didn't know a friend of mine was taking me to a house right outside of a cotton field. And I had never in my life been to a cotton field because I'm half black and I refuse.
Mm-hmm.
I just refuse. Started with the taste of blood in my mouth. And as we're driving, I couldn't shake this taste of blood. And my ears started to ring. And then I could hear people screaming in pain. And I'm like, what is happening? And the next thing I know, I just see cotton field. I see cotton field. And I'm like, you got to get me out of here. I don't do this. And that's when I realized that extremely it does in a sense scare me, because if it can affect me that much where I'm tasting blood, I'm hearing their scream, and I'm somewhat visualizing it, and the terror of what they went through. Or to fake that is just so disrespectful.
I agree, and that's the thing too. Is that I try to show that next level respect to spirits when I go to these places, to offer help to them, and at least try to help them in a genuine way, because they're not zoo animals. They're not something that we just want to have say, "Here, knock something over and leave the place." I mean, we have to have a mutual respect, and say, "Look, if they move something for us or show us an evidence that they're here, the least we could do is try to help them, because they're humans. We're related. We're all brothers and sisters. We come from the same source of light." And if you have that true intent, I think there'll be actual, real reciprocation of evidence and manifestations from these spirits, if you really walk into it, because I think they can see it around your aura, whether you have genuine intent or not, and what your true intentions are.
Yeah, I'm tracking. It's um, I've met a lot of people that are really into their gifts and everything, and really proud of you guys, because you guys are really 100%. I feel like I'm not a whole person sometimes. I don't do anything to figure it out. I just let it happen and
Mm-hmm.
let it happen and pass. I don't put any intent behind it, because I'm afraid
Mm-hmm.
that if I don't look behind that door,
Right.
and what I've been throughout my life, and being told by these certain things, it's hard. And I had kids at a really young age. I had kids at 18, so 18, 22, and 32. So
Right.
I'm always worried about that, because the first thing you're always told is kids are the most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. It's very true. And that's why I was just saying before. I mean, it's always good to listen to your kids too, what they're saying, and be open to things that might sound, not so normal. Because you don't want to alienate them. Because if you alienate them and they are experiencing something truly paranormal, then these things are using that opportunity to increase the chaotic
We've had
situation.
conversations about it. The kids have slightly seen and heard things. I feel grateful, and it sucks saying this, because I want to breathe, but I just don't know how to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of glad that they don't. a hard sleeper, and it
Mm-hmm.
like scares the crap out of people I'm with or whoever spends the night because I just like dead awake,
Right.
and then I just look and I'll just say leave me alone, or I'll say something, and they're like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. Go back to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I've had some of the most profound paranormal experiences while I was sleeping, so I know what you mean. Trust me.
So it's like you're the most vulnerable at that moment. You're, and run. I do believe that you go other places. Fictional make believe. I believe dreams mean something. You either go through or you're shown something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, I mean that's a whole nother subject matter. I
Yeah,
mean astral projection.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, that's a whole nother like a whole nother conversation. Yes, it is. But I want to give someone else a chance to get on and questions or whatever, and maybe after. I know that a couple of people had said, reach. I will definitely please message me, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, just message
Any
me.
guidance would be much appreciated. That's what I'm looking for at this point. It's just like how I'll do it under control, because it's at this point I feel like it's tearing me in two.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what to do or not to do.
Yeah,
I
sure.
guess.
Absolutely. Just throw me a message and be glad to try to guide you in any way.
Awesome. It was really nice to meet you, and again, thank you for being genuine and true about what you're doing, because I really dislike seeing people fake it, because it can be very terrifying
I
sometimes,
agree.
and for them
Yeah,
to fake something like that is insane. People really go through this stuff. It's not a joke.
I know. You're preaching to the choir, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, most definitely. It was nice to meet you again. I'm Yoli, and if you need advice about anything too, I'm always here.
Sounds good.
I'm an empath. I know that for sure. And we pick up on you have a very pure spirit, and I can tell that from in person or not in person, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very easy. I don't have a lot of friends because I can tell people's intent and their spirit and who they are without even them saying a word. So I keep my circle small because energy really depletes me. Bad energy depletes me.
Oh, I know what you
So
mean.
it was nice talking to you. Have a good night.
You too. Be safe.
All right. Bye bye. You as well.
Well, guys, we got two people sharing some amazing experiences for themselves. Again, I think that's really beneficial for everyone to hear some of the stuff that people can go through, and it was something that was good for me watching documentaries and just hearing about people's stories. And even when I used to have my own podcast, I would bring people on and just to we can pick each other's brains. We can all learn something from each other, and that's really what spirituality is all about. We're all synergistically supposed to work for the greater good together. Unfortunately, because of the things they are, Hollywood is part of the paranormal community now with TV shows. You have the twisted people claiming to have you know, well, claiming to be truly spiritual when they're not. We're lucky to get on TV. I've been lucky and graced to be on TV. Thank you so much, Julie. Huge ghost emojis for Julie. Thanks so much. Um, I feel lucky to be, on TV at all for the sake of something I'm passionate about doing. But it becomes a little uh, tricky with people deciphering their true intent because you have the element of people getting attention. Then you have people faking stuff for the sake of just getting attention, and that shows their true motives. And it disgusts me. It makes me very angry too because I've been doing this for so many years, and I know how hard it is to extract real evidence and see something fly across the room or something like that. But then you just see these evidence, oh, poltergeist activity. It's crazy. It's like, yeah, there's nothing happening. You're faking stuff, and you just want to be known. You want to make money. And to me, it's almost like you're making a deal with the devil, and so to speak, in some ways, because you're, I don't know. I just, I couldn't live with myself doing something like that. I would never fake anything. I don't need to fake anything. And you guys, from doing so many live investigations for some of you on Periscope and now doing this on YouTube, I, um, I enjoy to be able to extract real evidence, a real paranormal experience, and for you guys to experience it with me. Um, and I've said this on Periscope many times. It's like I've written about a lot of these things that have happened during these live investigations while I've been investigating. And you guys were a part of my story. You're part of my book, and you were witnesses to a bunch of stuff that happened in front of you on screen. And also, obviously there's other stuff that I experienced behind the scenes. But, you know, um, yeah, I mean, in some way, you guys were there, and that's what I do like. I mean, the one downfall about doing live investigations is like, the phone service and can become pixelated. But again, it's also backing up some of your experiences. And I still have people to this day, even coming on YouTube and some of the comments, oh, this isn't live. You're telling people this is live. I'm like, yeah, no, 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 it's live. And like, no, no, just because you premiered it live doesn't mean it was live. Yeah, no, actually, I took it from a live broadcasting platform where I actually, interacted with people and I sliced it up into a video now. So yeah, and then you just hear crickets from these people. And I also had these types of comments coming through when Ghost Loop first, premiered. And there are people, bashing me and stuff. Oh, I've never heard so many people get so many responses on, the Spirit Box, and blah, blah, this and that. And I'm like, all right, well, just here's some of my live streams. This is my resume. This is what I've done. And I turned around a bunch of people, and having those live investigations and showing that I get real evidence, um, that's it's backing up. It's just like, look, I don't fake anything. I don't need to. And even if I was on TV, like I just don't need to fake stuff, because again, I believe I have genuine intent. When you have genuine intent and a willingness to try to help spirits, they will gravitate towards you, and you will get natural evidence when it's available to the spirits to be able to do so. And look what just happened with you guys just this past week. The haunted road there with Ryan, to the haunted hotel room. I mean, what was going on at the Shanley Hotel, and just bringing up stuff. I mean, you just can't fake some of that stuff, that comes through, and the things that go on. It's just like, whoa. And you got to be objective when you see some of these people, what they do in the paranormal. Look at the way they act. Look at what they're doing. I mean, are they really about are they really about the paranormal experience, or are they really about, look at me, look at me, look at me? You can tell. And some people just don't care, and they just entertained for just whatever. But it's annoying to see people getting attention when they're doing it for reasons of just getting attention and faking it and stuff. Um, but all you can do is, for me, I just keep doing what I'm doing. I go out and investigate these places to learn from them. It's bringing history to life. And, from these experiences, helping people on cases when they come to me, that I can have the chance and opportunity to try to help them as well. Um, yes, I know. And I've been doing live streams for so long now. It's crazy. Um, Hello, guys, here, and I know I'm on Instagram too. Hey, Joanne, Tim, Sammy, again, the Watchtower, Carolina. Um, so this is what I do, and this is my life. Thank you, Vicky, Misty. Um, you know, it doesn't matter if I'm on TV or not. This is my passion, to be involved with it in any way and be able to spend a lot of time doing it. I am truly appreciative and humbled to be able to do it. Music was my first passion. I mean, went through a lot of obstacles with that, and obviously the paranormal kind of geared me and veered me off a little bit away from the music, even though it's right there and I love it so much. Um, yeah, it sounds good, Bay. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, David. Glad that is the case for you. Thank you, Dazzler. Well, welcome now, Lindsay. Um, appreciate that, Caroline. Carolina girl. Um, thank you, Israel. Nice. Yeah, and by the way, anyone just coming here to Instagram, I'm doing a dual chat here. I'm live on YouTube doing a Q&A. I've been answering people's questions about the paranormal. If you want to call in while I'm doing this into Instagram, ask me a question or share a story um, for a little bit longer while I'm hanging out here. Been doing this for 2 hours and like 15 minutes about. um, More than welcome to, and I will try to do more of these too as I go. But as it's warm out, Sean wants to be outside. And I'm sure you guys want to see the real investigating too. But I think it's good to kind of for the new people that if you're in here, you never, um, chat with me or ask me questions. You might see what I'm doing and wondering about what I do and how I do things and how I approach the paranormal and engage these spirits and praying for them and what they do and my experiences. I think it's a good thing in between doing investigations to do this sort of thing. So that is good, Trudy. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, which people are on here, just search Sean Austin, SeanAustin, paranormal. It'll pop right up in the search. You'll see my channel. Just hit subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I post things on there, which I'm sure you hear other people on YouTube say all the time. And now, since I'm on YouTube, I am doing the same thing. Um, so that is that, right? Um, had a really cool day today. Gary Galka invited me to the warehouse. He was taking a look at the device he sent me, looked at the buzzing thing, and he fixed it. He's going to be sending me back that. It was really humbling to be able to check out and see the warehouse he's got. I was seeing armies of REM pods and spirit boxes, and boy, the energy in there. Obviously, experimenting with these ITC devices and stuff, and it was really cool to see Gary and his element and his passion and what he brings to the table, being one of the most beneficial pioneering engineers for the paranormal field to this day. Thank you so much, Lindsay. If and anyone who's not aware, you can purchase a signed copy of both of my books on my website, SeanDAustin.com, SeanD as in David, AUSTIN. And I have copies of my CDs on there, which I'll sign and mail out anywhere in the US for my website, both books and CDs. And if you want a copy of my books anywhere outside the country, would be through Amazon. Yes, music was my first passion. When I have time, writing it's a release for me too, and becoming spiritual too. It's definitely goes hand in hand with each other. It's always been my invisible therapist to a degree. Abigail's in Simsbury, Connecticut. Um, yeah, I didn't know it was in Connecticut. See, I've only been in Connecticut here since last May. No problem, anytime. And private message me. I'd be glad to try to guide you with your experience with that shadow thing. Awesome that you just subscribed. Thank you so much on YouTube, through here on Instagram. Thank you. Appreciate that. Um, and you can see that when you watch my investigations live on YouTube. As it's getting warm out, I got some big trips coming out, some big investigations. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can see what I do live without any editing in my favor. And that's usually what I'm going to be filling up my YouTube with: live investigations and then editing down and reviewing live investigations into some sort of mini docu thing for my YouTube channel. So you have both of those things. If I could get access to Abigail's, I will definitely look into it and see if I can investigate it. I would love to. Maybe I can look it up. If you know somebody that works there and get me access, let me know. Private message me. And I would be on that like yesterday. Yep, I'm actually heading to Ohio. That's my trip in a week and a half. I've already lined up some places. Yeah, I've been to Ohio a bunch of times. We did another trip before. We were at what's the name of that castle? Land Landell's Castle. We investigated that place for 2 days. Phenomenal. So interesting. Oh, excuse me. Where I slept at the Bel Air house for 8 days in a row, and I'm actually going back out there to film as a guest. There's a bunch of girls who are. It's a Paranormal Apprentice type pilot series. They're trying to get picked up, and they're living in that house for 8 days. And that place is, can get really eerie and dark. So that's one of the places I'm returning to for that, and a few other places that I'm making a whole trip out of that I will be live investigating on my YouTube channel. Um, that you can watch live. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on notifications if you want to watch some of those live investigations and see how I investigate and experience maybe something for yourself and make yourself wonder about it and see if you believe. Um, Music hall in Cincinnati. Yeah, man. I'd love to start playing some gigs again. Nice, Alicia, Massachusetts. Investigate up there. To my birthday, February 13th. Thank you, Misty. Okay. A forest in upstate New York that has very some interesting creatures. They do shows themselves. Nice, yeah. I love haunted forests. I love my favorite places to investigate. I'd have to say that are just isolated, even cemeteries. Like Letchworth Cemetery. It's a dirt path that goes into the forest, and it's this big mound. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's away from life. That's where like you can feel the eerie vibes more. It's not You're not distracted by, you know, you know, the normal daily life of people, cars, and noise. So you can really connect. Hey, how we doing? Annie Song, how we doing? I will definitely look into Abigail's and see if I can get in there. If I can investigate the place for a couple hours one night while no one's there, I would be there like yesterday. Again, as it gets warm here, and I'm here in Connecticut this summer, I'm always looking for places to investigate. So if I can get in there, that would be great. Snake Mount. Snake Mount. Okay. Sounds cool. You met your husband in Connecticut. Nice. Which part? What is up, Hectus? How we doing? So we're doing a little Q&A with Paranormal, and I'm dual chatting here. Let some people come on and share their stories on Instagram. Scream Queen, what is up? I am doing some dual chat here with YouTube and Instagram, juggling chats back and forth like a crazy bastard. But got some interesting stories from some people here, and that was something cool that we did on Periscope. I was bringing guests on, they were sharing their story, and they don't have to worry about the limitations of chat. If they want to write a whole story and try to consolidate it down, or want to ask me a question and be able to go back and forth. Um, I hope to do some lectures. I may be doing an event in Connecticut this summer. I will find that out soon, and if I do, I'll let you guys know. And if I do, I will be doing a lecture. I'm setting up a date to do an event at the Antique Shop, which was an episode of Ghost Nation, which I investigated twice with you guys live on YouTube. I'm figuring out a date with the owner as well. That will be somewhere in the summer as well. So I will let you know as soon as that is confirmed. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out something to do tomorrow, Misty. It's going to be 70 something degrees, so I will definitely be streaming something for you guys tomorrow because I want to be outside, and it's a really good opportunity to do that. Um, I hit up so many spots in Connecticut last summer, but it was on Periscope, so I can return to some of these places for people on YouTube, um, and try them out again. No problem. Yeah, it's supposed to be really nice. I know. Too much of it is not enough. And I appreciate if you haven't to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't been able to. I know I got to keep saying this stuff because I guess I'm learning about YouTube. The thumbs up on these videos and I guess comments, you know, on videos, I don't know, help the algorithm. But I guess when you do live, it's a little bit different than Golden Lamb Inn in Ohio. Very cool, Sandy. Thank you. Excuse me. I want to do this tonight, and then tomorrow maybe I can start working on my next reviewed video for you guys to watch. And thank you so much. Anyone that you know that's interested in the paranormal, if you can share my YouTube page with them, um, see, if they're into the paranormal, I'm sure they'll enjoy the live investigations and some of these things I'm putting together, like mini documentaries about the places we have live investigated. Really appreciate the help. Anyone to share these videos out or my channel as I've transitioned from Periscope because I've definitely lost a lot of people, but I'm glad to have who I have right now. And thank you guys for all the support thus far. The USS North Carolina battleship. Yeah. I don't think I've ever done a battleship. REO of Sun. How we doing? The Do It guy, Do It still comes through the spirit box. It does from time to time, but I guess we weren't having acknowledging as much. Hecbus, the docu, should be coming out in the next month or two. The trailer should be coming out first soon. I was just speaking to the producer today. He's been editing and working on it so hard. I'm so excited for you guys to see everything and to see it all put together. I'm actually going down to North Carolina, meeting him. I'm going to do a couple more interview pieces for him. And I told him I kind of wanted to have my hand in helping him with some of the music for the documentary because I download a lot of cool music that I've been using on my videos on YouTube, and I think that's so important to use something. And being a musician, and I would like to be a little part of that. I want it to be effective for certain parts. So yeah, definitely gonna be good. I have not investigated the Queen Mary yet. Warm greetings from Indonesia. Welcome, Sora Taro. Um, No problem. I appreciate it. Sounds good. Thank you for the new subscription. Sounds good. Appreciate it, bud. Thank you, Andrew. Ghost emojis for Andrew. Much appreciative. It's gonna be crazy, Hecbus. That documentary. The story's crazy. The evidence is crazy, and then you guys witnessed some of that with me. Um, so again, you guys are part of it. Yeah, Satinsville Rectory was nuts, Andrew. That was from a while back. I was live streaming on Periscope then too. LA Beast was with us. It was nuts. The Bel Air house was really nuts too. The one night I'm gonna review and edit down because I'm not gonna go through 8 days of footage. That would take me like like probably take me like 3 full days of going through. Um, I'm probably going to review the night we did the crazy gateways all together because that was the creepiest, weirdest night. Oh, holy man, a lot of yawns in me. But I bounced around a lot today. Went to the gym, got stuff done, and I'll try to get to the gym early tomorrow, and then I will be live streaming somewhere outside for you guys. Yes, Kristen is great. I was just on the phone with her before. Good people. I'm sure you guys won't forget it. There were people throwing up and Their dogs were acting strange and they had to leave the chat that night. I almost had to leave the room. The energy was so crazy. I've never felt anything like that in my history of doing the paranormal. I literally felt that night that every single dark, evil entity that I've ever encountered was in the room with me all at once. All of it. It was insane. Um, all of it. The Amityville stuff, the Conjuring 3 demon, the pig thing. Like I felt everything in that room. I could see it all, and I felt like it was closing in on me, and I'm just like, I don't know what it was that night. I am not in a haunted location. I am where I'm staying currently in Connecticut. It was a really crazy night, and that was nuts. I'm sure I'll be talking to the girls on this thing at the Bel Air house about that. Um, but that was really insane. Yeah, a lot of people were being affected at home that night. It's understandable because that night was very unique. We hooked up like something like 4 gateways, 3 spirit boxes, and all the voices coming through was like they were speaking from hell. They said they were from hell, and I'm telling you, it was just the energy in there. I've never felt anything like it. Um, it was just surreal. I felt like we were in a horror movie. Like we just opened up a vortex to hell. No joke. Yes, Lindsay, it's on my channel here if you want to watch that night. It's Bel Air House Night 4, the investigation. I did a whole channel thing on my thing for live investigation. It's all Bel Air House if you want to watch that night. No, I don't think people can get attachments from watching live. Can they experience stuff? They can connect. Um, I think from people being open to the paranormal in general, you can attract more experiences. But um, I wouldn't say that would be something. I've never heard of something like that happening. Do I still have the spirit in my car? That was just something unique that day. On my way to haunted location back in the fall. But it's one of those things that I experience on my way to certain locations where the spirits will come to me before going, and they might want prayer, they want help, or they might have a message, or they might want to warn me about the spirits that are there. Depends what it is and why it is. So yeah, it really did. And again, you guys were there with us, and watching, and it was really just something really unreal. Uh, it was definitely creepy, and for me too. It's just like for me to get up and almost leave the room. Just can tell you a little bit about how bad it was in that room that night. Yes, the SLS with the gateway. Even just the other night, the hotel room. Did you guys see that? What the stick figure was doing in the hotel room a few nights ago? It was literally like taking its hand and going all over it. Um, I wasn't expecting that hotel room again. Both nights, both nights. The one that I was in where Jared was there, insane. The light outside turning off and on. The presence that was in there warning me to pray. And I don't think it was a pray for them. It's kind of thing. It was like, Sean, you need to pray. It's something dark's in the room. It's just really wild. Yes, activity's been strangely crazy lately. Over the course of the last couple weeks. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but how do you know if a loved one has crossed over? Um, well, I think if they were earthbound, I think that there would be some sort of notification. Um, Things would happen around the house, or maybe you'd have dreams about them constantly. Uh, there would be weird circumstances, but there's no guarantee of what we can do to prove whether or not they're crossed over. But I think if they were earthbound, I think that you would be more apt to realizing that somehow. I don't even remember what the name of this pasta is. Are you saying that because I was like, damn, it smells like dog food? I was like, ugh. Yeah, he brought that into the hotel room. I was like, I wanted to die. The hotel was really weird, and even the other night was really bizarre and crazy too. Pentacles, yeah, it said High Priestess and all this crap. Somebody else wants to come in, share something. What's up?
Hey, Sean, nice to finally meet you, dude.
What's up,
I'm so
dude?
glad I finally get to meet you. This is a pleasure to meet you.
All right, man.
Thank you for letting me, thanks for accepting it. I'm really a huge fan of your YouTube channel. I've been watching for a very long time, and I know Eric, so,
Cool,
because I
man.
went to his event at Post Town, so,
Nice.
yeah. It is really a pleasure to meet you. I'm surprised you actually accepted it, because I thought you wouldn't, so.
Dude, no worries.
So how have you been?
Good, man. Just decided to come on here and do a little Q&A for people, and um, you
Yeah,
know,
that's cool. I haven't had a lot of paranormal experience, but I only been to Post Town, so that's the only place I've been to. But
right?
it was fun. I had fun at Post Town. It was a really fun event, and actually Eric did have some of the spirits at his house. If someone followed me home and they said one spirit did, but I haven't had like any activity or nothing. So
Well, you could have spirits that follow you around, and you might not really notice it. It might not be something that's dark or evil. I mean, it might just be something lingering around. Not all spirits are bad, so. But that's cool that you had an experience at the Post Town. That's a place that I'm sure I'll check out at some point too.
yeah. Yeah, but I thought I did have some paranormal experience when I'm living here, but no, I haven't had nothing. Had nothing, so
Well, maybe that's a good thing, man. That's your house. It's your sanctuary. Want to make sure you're living in a safe space.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, this is a pleasure to meet you. I'm so glad I finally get to meet you on here. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Cause
man.
I've been talking to you on here, and it's like very cool. So
Yeah, buddy.
yeah, I did a live stream on here earlier. Like nobody did join my live stream earlier, so that's why I wanted to come on here. So
Yeah, man. Well, I do these, on and off. Everyone and yourself is welcome anytime.
so if you had advice for anyone that wants to be a paranormal investigator, what would you get them? Like if they wanted to like start being like a paranormal investigator.
Well, I always try to recommend that it's good to read some books to kind of verse you on circumstances that'll take place or can take place, to prepare you for things that can go wrong. Make sure that you're protected along the journey of getting involved. And that's something that I did. I was going out to cemeteries and doing stuff, but when I realized it was real, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to read. And reading really helped me, kind of like, formulate who I am and how I was approaching stuff, so I could learn as much and absorb as much as I was going out investigating.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because I think because one of my friends for my birthday, they give me this book. It's called Ghost Hunting. It's really cool. It looks really cool. This is the book I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
All right. Thanks for letting me come on. I just wanted to say hi and see how you doing. So thank you for letting me come on.
No
That was
problem,
really
buddy.
nice.
Anytime.
All right. See you.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Um, yeah, so again, anyone just coming here, I'm dual chatting here on freaking YouTube here, and I'm allowing people to come on here and ask me questions on either YouTube or Instagram regarding all things Casper related here. Um, So if someone wants to use the chat in here, come on video and ask me a question or share a story while I'm doing this, more than welcome. Did I miss any question here? Paranormal can definitely be very addictive and dangerous. Yeah, it's endlessly fascinating, and you realize that this stuff is real, then it can take you down that rabbit hole. What is the, what is what you do? Do you think about shadow people? Um, well, from my experience, shadow people always have some sort of negative connotation to the experience. It's usually not something like a higher vibrational spirit, that's for sure. They're usually some sort of deviant purpose, from my experience. Um, it can also be a shadow manifestation where it's not really just in the shape of a person. And if it's a black mist, it's usually something not good either. Um, it's interesting how like colors and things of that nature kind of associate to what their consciousness of energy might represent. So usually like red, black, dark brown. My experience, even if it's just a ball of light that I can see with my own eyes, it's usually not something good. It can be something angry or evil. But shadow people in general usually are something not typically good. The shower ghost, what in Gettysburg? Yeah, that was a little nuts. I will definitely review and edit that video down for you guys too. That was a really unique night that I was on my way home from like South Carolina. I'm like, all right, screw it. I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna stop off in Gettysburg, and here we go. And that was crazy night too, just by myself in the room. Another day in the life of, right? Yep, I've seen many shadows. It's like I said, they're usually not a good thing, um, from my experience. But what they are, and each time you witness them, I don't know. I mean, I've seen shadows that were not human, with horns too. So I I remember the day after I went to Zach's haunted museum, and I saw some vision with some serious messed up shit. Some shadow came up to me and was laughing and just had a gun to its head. It was a shadow. It was like a shape of a shadow with arms, and it just laughed and laughed, and then like it just growled, it just snarled, and then it blew it, and it just shot itself, and then it just growled again and laughed, and then it just veered off, just demented, um, definitely demonic, um, really twisted. Um, but sometimes you just see shadows darting around. Like the other night when we were at the haunted road, I would just see these shadow figures dart around us in circles, and that's what a lot of these things do too. They kind of circle us, and I could see it. Just like, all right, just saw something. They go really quickly. Just see from left to right, or back and forth. And obviously, yeah, it's like I said, they're usually not good. The museum is phenomenal. It's crazy. I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes long. Um, thing. I would love to go back at some point too. I have a very tall one in the hallway. It keeps peeking at me, very shy. Well, it's a good thing that if it's shy rather than sitting there and attacking you, right? Yeah, shadow people are usually not a good thing. Like I said, um, someone else have a question? You want to call in here and use Instagram? Probably do this for about, what time is it? I'll do this for 20 more minutes. Definitely animal lover. I agree. Shadow figures can be evil, and the ones I've seen in the corner of my eye have been dark. That's something that I've brought up too. Have a good night, Jen. Um, my opinion about why we see things in the corner of our eyes and not in our frontal vision. So when you're a child, they hammer the rational perspectives into your mind in an impressionable stage, and that's where we lose a lot of us the natural psychic gifts. Um, and by doing so, I think that our frontal vision is not able to see some of the psychic things that were natural to us maybe as a child, but in our peripheral vision, that's why we still see things in the corner of our eyes, all of us. Um, so that is my theory with that. Do you sign a waiver before going into Zach's museum? Absolutely. Absolutely. Really don't think he wants to get sued for any one being possessed. I mean, people have dropped and fainted on the floor in that place. I mean, I've been to a lot of haunted locations. They have waivers. It's very smart thing to do because anyone could sue you for anything. So you got to be protected. If you have people coming into your a location where they could be harmed, spirit even spiritually, I mean, they could sue you for anything. Usually is not pleasant. Have you ever asked a question to a ghost that only you knew the answer to? Well, spirits can read your mind pretty much. So I mean, and there's no conception of time. So questions that I could ask that you'd think they wouldn't be aware of, most likely they are. Um, have I done investigation at a plane crash site? So you guys know about the experience I had over the fall when Eric and I went to Pennsylvania. And Dave, we went to that hotel in Pennsylvania when I was driving um, with the 9/11 thing. I was driving in the car and I saw a shadow of a plane fly over my car, and I'm like, it disappeared. I thought it was like a reflection or something, and I'm just crossing. And I'm looking at myself, and I'm just like, what just happened? And I start to realize, I'm like, wait a minute, where am I in Pennsylvania? And I had my GPS on, and I looked at the path of United 93, and I was literally on the path of what the plane was on the day of 9/11, and that just blew me away. I was really freaked out. I'm just like, did I really just experience that? It was really nuts. Um, and you look at the map. I posted on my Instagram if you want to see it. Um, the comparison of where I was in the map, the direction I was going compared to the plane when it was hijacked and what it was doing. And I just thought that was really insane. I'm just like, wow, that was just a very unique experience for me. And we ended up going to this hotel that we were going to stay at for like a couple of nights and investigate it. And when I get there, I found out that the United 93 Memorial site was 15 to 20 minutes away from where we were investigating. And I had no damn idea. No damn idea. So what are the chances of that? So that made me have more validation to me seeing this shadow plane fly over my car, because I didn't even know where I was going. That I was going to be that close to it. So I felt a purpose to actually go. Well, a spirit was coming through and saying that they were from United 93, and one of the names that came through was on the list when Eric and I went to the United 93 memorial site, and we went there, did a couple of sessions, and we prayed for the spirits in case there was any spirits that were still earthbound that we could help. So that was a very unique experience. That was the only plane crash site that I've gone to, and that was not something planned at all. Really interesting. Really sad day. I knew people that died that day. Um, but again, I was drawn to there for a reason, and obviously I wanted to show respect and pray for the spirits in case that could help any of them. Oh, damn, Alicia. Oh, damn, Sandy. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. And, it's definitely amazing to be able to have, abilities to see things, but you got to be able to handle it too. Because, like I said, the more experiences you have, the more you got to be able to handle. Because, I mean, I've had the worst of the worst come to me, especially when I'm on my bed, um, that you can imagine. Hooved, tailed, red glowing eyes, fangs. The Annabelle dolls, demon thing, followed me home. You want to watch the video of what happened and proof of it to back it up? It's on my YouTube channel. Just type in Annabelle followed me home, and it's I'm lucky enough to, I guess, to experience such a thing. I don't know why it followed me home that time. Very bizarre. Looking at the spirit box and said rainbow. Yeah. Yes, Misty. Thank you. Definitely some good stories that were shared and some good questions. And that's what was good about doing this all the time for me. Um, it's good for everyone to share their stories, and like we can all learn something from each other. Oh wow, that's for sure, Nancy. Anybody else want to ask me any questions? While we're here, last handful of minutes here. I'm definitely gonna live stream for you guys somewhere tomorrow. Definitely gonna be outside. Take advantage of that.
Hello.
What's up? How we doing? I have not, Susan. How we doing?
I'm asleep.
That's great. I'm currently in Connecticut in the
Oh,
United
I
States.
will miss you.
Oh, likewise.
Oh, you know?
Did you want to share? Do you have a paranormal ghost story or something you want to share?
Um, your country?
Yep, United States. Hey, Alfred, how's it going? Have a good night, Alicia.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Nice to
You as well. Have a good night, Nancy. if you see things in your corner eye, I mean, can you be intuitive? I mean, a lot of people have that experience. Again, but we all have psychic gifts. We're spiritual beings living in a human body, having a human experience. So the abilities are there. They're within every single one of us. My psychic abilities happened to me in the middle of my life. There were signs early on in life, but not until I actually started engaging the spirit realm and the paranormal did I start to trigger it and bring it about more. But we all have those abilities. They're there. They may be a little bit harder for you to touch upon, but they're there. Wendy, it'll be going on 12 years I've been involved doing this. It's crazy. So crazy. What was that? Who knows? Are there any instances you think of now looking back that you are like, whoa? As in what? I could look back at a lot of things and say, whoa. Um, Advice for new investigators, man. I was just telling another guy just before, read books. Um, when I had experiences and knew it was real, I was just beginning to know I wanted to read about stuff. So I read to become more informed. I have lots of whoa moments. I mean, in a general sense. Um, I mean, seriously, I look back at the last over decade of doing this. Um, I feel like taking a ride on Falcor's back from the never-ending story at this point, with all the shit that I've gone through and experienced. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Um, well, I'll just bring up something that I've talked about. An omen when I was a kid out in Long Island, running home between 8 and 10 years old or something like that. I was running home from a friend's house, and there were tall, like dead grass in between the homes. We almost lived on the bay, maybe a block away from the bay, and I saw something in the corner of my eye running between the homes with the tall, dead grass, and there was something there, and I went to go pick it up, and it was a satanic book burnt on the outer edges, and I had a really creepy feeling. Threw it down, ran home, and cried to my mom, as any kid would. And those are just one of the things that popped up. Even when I wrote my first book, that stood out to me as some sort of omen of what I would get involved with later on in life. Yeah, looking back on it now, that would be what is like, whoa, yeah, that was something that would be connected to what I ended up being part of in this present day. If you feel people's emotions, that's really clairsentient, where you can pick up the emotions of people and spirits. I have it too. Um, I have no idea what happened to the book. Like the Evil Dead book. It was just like a thick black book. I remember, and it said something like satanic on the front, and it was burnt on the edges. I don't know why it was burned on the edges. I don't know if it was mysteriously burnt or someone just burnt it to mess with it or get rid of it. I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those things that I definitely look back at and I'm like, whoa. Um, Also, when I was like 3 years old, I'd be in the bathtub and I would tell my mom I remember being in her belly as a child before being born, and talked about remember being in space and shit. Um, that's just another one thing, and she would tell me about it. I didn't remember. definitely some weird things along the way. Am I married? No. Is it hard to have a relationship with this shit? I mean, I guess some people would only be able to handle it. I've been pretty busy doing my thing. Um, so I guess it just depends. But I've been doing a lot of traveling, so yeah. I was just saying, Sean. Black misty things are usually not good, and yeah, floating over your bed. You got to be aware of things like that. So I definitely know what you mean. I've seen black mists. There was something in my room last night too, and I woke up and threw holy water around. I could see through my eyelids, laying down. I could just see this like bubbly black thing kind of going at the edge of my bed. Just this black thing just going like this past my bed from left to right. And I'm like, I get up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to throw some holy water around the room because I don't know what that thing's trying to do, but it's probably not something nice. So, I blessed my room, and I still slept well, luckily. That's awesome, Krieger, that you have those experiences. It's good and nice to have those positive experiences when they do happen. If I was married, would I be afraid to bring these dark entities home with you? Um, Things happen. There's no guarantee. I mean, do things kind of come in and out from going these places? It does. Even if I keep blessing my place and constantly, the fact is, I constantly go to places, investigate. So things kind of linger around. Me being a medium, they can kind of show their face and kind of pop in and just leave. It's not like, um, where I'm living like is haunted per se, but like weird things will just happen and then nothing will happen for a while. It's just kind of one of those things that comes along with the territory, so to speak. Data flight attendant, yeah. How do you keep your soul happy? Well, being busy with my passion, going to the gym, staying focused on my goals, things like that. How do I protect my home environment? Well, I constantly bless it. Like I said, even last night, some things can just randomly happen, and I'll get up and I don't let them do to me what they idealistically want to do to you. They want to induce fear or mess with you. So I get up and I'm like, all right, the one thing they're trying to do is mess with my sleep. So, you know, I'm just accustomed for some of these things that they try to do the same thing. So I get up and say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I revoke your permission to be here and get out of here. Um, you just got to be careful, what they will try to do. I mean, being oppressed is no joke. Um, so that's something you want to avoid at all costs. And that's we take risks as investigators and going to these places and stuff. And that's why it's so important to be versed and knowledgeable about how these things can attack you. And that's really from a psychological, emotional standpoint. Hello, how are you? If there were children with you, could they possess children? Um, someone like me, I mean, even if I had kids, I mean, I'd be so aware of something that would be in the house, I would pick it up on it. It wouldn't be able to hide from me living in a house. And if my kids were acting strange, or I would want my kids to be open to me and explain, um, anything weird that's going on. Um, I would want to encourage any sort of experience that they have, so they don't feel isolated and reclusive, because that's what these things would try to do: make a child become reclusive, keep them alone, keep them in this cycle, where they would feel like no one's listening to them but the spirit. Um, I'd be very aware, more than most people, trust me. So it would never get to that point, because there would be stages before someone be possessed, and even a child wouldn't just happen right away. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, stay up the live stream. Well, guys, I've been doing this for 3 hours here. Got a little bit of headache. I'm a little tired. This has been awesome, and I will do more of these. I love answering people's questions. I love talking about this. I could talk about this for hours, obviously, that I just did. And appreciate all the support, you guys, on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you are. If you want to watch these live investigations, I'll be doing this stream tomorrow somewhere, haunted outside, because it's going to be gorgeous. And maybe some nighttime stuff this week. Thank you, Mary. Is it true evil spirits attacks from? Oh, for sure. Um, really appreciate everybody. Everyone have a good night. God bless. Be safe. And thank you so much. I'm glad to answer a lot of your questions. I know I haven't done one in a few weeks. Thank you so much, Robert. Same to you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I will definitely do something outside. Take advantage of the warm weather. Ghost emojis for Jess. Thank you so much, Jess. No, no problem. I did these a lot, Sandy, on Periscope, and I've been doing a lot of investigating outside. But I will definitely try to do one of these a week, or one every other week. Just to fill in the gaps in between investigations for people. So thank you, Lisa, Krager, Trudy, Wild Green Child. Can you tell when others are spiritual? You mean like abilities? Sometimes, yeah. It depends. The ghost train. Thank you, Susan, so much. Same to you. Well, all right, guys. I will definitely do this again. Make sure you go subscribe on my YouTube channel. Type in Sean Austin Paranormal. It'll pop up. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications if you haven't, so you can be notified when I post on here and go live. You can watch some of my live investigations at haunted places. And I will definitely do this again. Good night, guys. Mary, Jess, Sandy, Misty. Same to you, Wild Green Child. Thanks so much. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you later. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I'm going to go chill out and probably pass out. Thanks so much. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.